Good day everyone, I'm Dr. Joy and today my mission is to make you understand about the internal structures of the heart using a very simple schematic diagram which I designed myself. So what you can see on the screen here is the outline of the heart because this is a mirror image. So therefore this is the right side and this is the left side of the heart. So as you can see here, so the heart is divided into 4 chambers. So this will be your right atrium. So this will be your left atrium. And at the lower part is the right and the left ventricle. So now let us look into the right atrium first, right? So as you know, the right atrium, we have the smooth part and also the rough part. So this is the rough part of the right atrium, which I demarcated with line to symbolize the rough part of the atrium. So here will be the smooth part. So this rough part and the smooth part, okay, is separated by a structures, and these structures here is called as the crista terminalis. So what makes the rough part rough? Okay, because it has a pectinate muscle. Okay. Next, I would like to draw your attention on the smooth part of the right atrium. The smooth part of the right atrium, you have 4 openings. Okay, you have the opening for the superior vena cava, which is located at the superior part of the right atrium. Okay, next one, you have the inferior vena cava located at the inferior part of the smooth part of the right atrium. Okay, next one is the opening for the sinus, coronary sinus. And next we have the orifice, okay, right atrioventricular orifice, okay, between the right atrium and also the right ventricle. Next, at the intra-atrial wall, we have a fossa ovalis, a dimple-like structures, okay, which is surrounded by a limbus of the fossa ovalis. At the right atrium, we also have a triangle. Okay, and this triangle we call it as the triangle of Koch, okay, which is bounded by coronary sinus, tendon of Torador, and the septal leaflet of the right atrioventricular valve. Okay, so now you can see here as is this is the right atrioventricular orifice. Okay, so this right atrioventricular orifice is guarded by valve. Okay, because this is at the right side. So therefore, the valve that guard the right atrioventricular valve is called as the tricuspid valve. Okay, so now we have done with the right atrium. Now let us move on to the right ventricle. Okay, so similar to the right atrium, right ventricle, we also have the smooth part and also the rough part. Okay, so the inflowing part, okay, according to the direction of the blood flow, the inflowing part is rough and the outflowing part is smooth. Okay, so the smooth part is also known as the infundibulum. So now let us look into the rough part of the right ventricle. Okay, so what make it rough? Okay, we have a muscular elevation, okay, trabecular carne. Next here is at the right atrium, we also have this 3 papillary muscle, okay, we have the anterior papillary muscle, okay, posterior papillary muscle, and the one located at the septal wall is what we call as the septal papillary muscle. So in the right ventricle, we have 3 papillary muscle. Okay, so now there's another this is 3 papillary muscle. Now there's a very string-like structures that connecting the papillary muscle to the valve. Okay, is a string-like structures of what we call as the chordae tendineae. Okay. Okay, so next one is these structures here. So there is a structures, the modulator band that extend from the base of the anterior papillary muscle to the ventricular septum. Okay, so these structures is what we call as the septo-marginal trabeculae. Okay, it's the modulator band. Okay, so here, if you can see here in the right atrium, we have 2 orifices. So this is the right atrioventricular orifice. Okay, we also have another one more orifice here. Okay, so this orifice is what we call as the pulmonary orifice. Okay, so the pulmonary orifice is guarded by the pulmonary valve. Okay, and then after that it will be connected to the pulmonary trunk. Okay, so this infundibulum will be connected to the pulmonary trunk. So now let us focus on the left atrium. So the left atrium, okay, most of the part of the left atrium is smooth, okay, except for the auricle, which is rough. All right. So this left atrium, we have five opening, four opening for the pulmonary vein, okay, and there's another one more opening, okay, is the left atrioventricular orifice. So this left atrioventricular orifice is guarded by the bicuspid valve. Okay, it's on the left side. So this is the bicuspid valve. Okay, so now let us look into the left ventricle. Okay, so left ventricle, similarly, okay, the inflowing part is rough and the outflowing part is smooth, and the outflowing part we also call, okay, the rough part, okay, is rough because we have the trabeculae, okay, and the smooth part is, we call it as the aortic vestibule. Okay, so similarly, we also have the papillary muscle, but in the case of left ventricle, we only have two papillary muscle. Okay, so this is similar, okay, to papillary muscle, and this one is the two papillary muscle is also connected to the bicuspid valve by the mean of the chordae tendineae. Okay, now looking into the left atrium, we have two orifices. Okay, one we have the left atrioventricular orifice here. Okay, the next one we have another orifice here. So this orifice is what we call as the aortic orifice, which is guarded by aortic valve. Okay, so next one, okay, after the blood passes through the aortic vestibule, okay, it will be connected to the ascending aorta. Okay, so one more thing that is not mentioned here is interventricular septum. Interventricular septum, so it's between the right and also the left ventricle. Okay, so here I demarcate here. So this is the wall of the interventricular septum. It has two parts, yeah. So it has the thick lower 3/3, okay, as I drawn here, and the upper 1/3, which is thin. Okay, lower 3/3 is thick, upper 1/3 is thin. Okay, so the lower thick one is what we call as the muscular part of the interventricular septum. Okay, and the thinner one is what we call as the membranous part of the interventricular system. Right. So that's all about the internal structures of the heart. I hope that this schematic diagram will make you visualize and understand the internal structures of the heart. And using this diagram, you will be able to compare what are the differences and the similarity between right and left atrium, and also the right and the left ventricle. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.